no, don't worry. You're a part of this, all right? Don't freak out now. But you're going to be asked questions. That's right. How? I know you're wondering that right now. You're thinking, how, Matt? Well, I'm going to tell you, all right? There's a button. I want you to find it. To submit a question on it. You can do this, all right? Don't freak. Type a little question into that box, okay? And when you hit that button, Max is going to read it on the air, provided it's a good question, of course. If you don't ask a good question, we're not going to read it. We might not even acknowledge that it exists. So, make it a good question. Max will read it. Very fun. We're going to have a great time. There's no video or anything, by the way. We're going to jump right into this one. So we're pretty much ready to go. I think Grayson's ready. He's on the other side of the curtain there. No more fabric wall. If you've been here before, we got rid of the fabric wall. We've upgraded. Full-on curtain status now. Yeah, woo for the curtain. Let's hear it for the... No, don't. You guys. That was very sweet of you. But don't. It's literally just fabric. So, it has no idea. But he's on the other side of it, no less, and he's super excited to get out here, and I want him to know that you guys are excited as well. I mean, clearly you are. You're cheering for fabric. So I'm going to ask you one last time, if you guys are ready to do this, let me hear it. Come on, make some noise. Fantastic. Tell you what, keep it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome your moderator, AOL Bill's very own Donna Freakin', and today's guest, Greyson Chance.
So nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in. And you have the same name as the son of one of my dearest friends. So right there, I love you already.
Hey.
And
tell them I said hello. Name. And it's spelled with an E?
Yeah, with an E.
Is there any okay, because people who spell with an A, I haven't met a sane Greyson with an A yet.
No.
They're nice people, they're just not sane.
No, they're not. Yeah, they're not. I completely agree with you. So yeah, with an E. So I was like, I have to tell him when we're on stage. So let's talk about your new music. Kind of take me through your songwriting process and your production process and what inspired it.
Well, I'm excited. I just put out a single a couple months ago, which was sort of my reintroduction back after being gone for a while. And now this record, which is coming out on Friday. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. You know, all this new music now. I'm writing everything, and I'm going into the studio and putting in the hours, and that's important to me, because I'm a songwriter and I started out that way. So, we're just, my voice is a little lower now. That's just the only thing that's changed. Everything else is the same.
Well, it happens, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys are aware, but Greyson was discovered in the possibly coolest way out there. He was performing Lady Gaga's Paparazzi, and the video was on YouTube, and this little nobody called Ellen DeGeneres saw it and signed Greyson. Yeah. So what's that been like for you?
Well, it's been amazing. I kind of feel like an old wise man at this point because I have to say 6 years ago, but it was 6 years ago, and she has been so supportive through everything, and I think as a musician, and I'm from Oklahoma originally, so I was hopping back and forth from LA to Oklahoma, and so you sort of like through your career you go through the ups and you go through the downs. There are certainly bad moments and good moments, and what's cool about Ellen is that, and the whole team over there, is they've stuck by me through everything, which they didn't have to do, So even this new music now, she's heard it. She gave me the thumb of approval, and so we're rolling with it.
And when you say she heard it, do you email her tracks, or does she come into the studio?
We Snapchat all the time. No, I'm just kidding.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, I think we corresponded through email and got her all the music. And when I actually went for the show, I hadn't gotten the response yet from when she liked the song for when we went a couple months ago. So I'm in the dressing room, and I'm like, oh my God, what if she's about to walk in and be like, okay, so we like the song, but we think you should do something different, or whatever it was. But luckily she liked it.
And you played last night at Webster Hall,
yes.
Correct? What is it like being on stage? It must be the most adrenaline-fueled joy ever.
This is way more scary.
Really?
Yeah, this is way more intimidating. It's funny. It's like I think Ringo Starr says it the best. He says he gets nervous before every show, and I don't get nervous until 30 minutes until, and then I'm just a mess. For 30 minutes before the show, I'm just freaking out, and then you walk up and it's fine because it's that's a comfortable place. So I hadn't been on the road for a while. It was my first time playing in New York since I think 3 years ago. So this was cool to come out to the fans and, again, say I'm a little taller, voice a little lower, and to play some new music for them.
But it's so cool. I mean, you write your own stuff. It's kind of a sad state of affairs to say that that's really cool, because I feel like that should be the norm, but it's not. What's your writing process like?
I think it changes a lot, and it's changed as I've gotten older as well. I think, for me, it's a lot of collecting ideas in my head. I have, and I'm sure there's some writers from AOL out in the audience, but I think when you have that, when you're using that side of your brain, there's so much happening all the time. So I'll have lyric ideas and all these things, and the hard thing for me is just finding the melody, finding the place for them. This record actually started as a really, really slow piano song, and when you hear it on Friday, it's not a slow piano song anymore. But I had this lyric idea, and I just wanted to apply it somewhere. So a lot of looking around, looking at my friends, looking at my what's happening in my day-to-day life, and trying to pluck things from it to put into music.
Who's your first listener?
Think about that. I send a lot of stuff to my mom.
Aww.
A lot of stuff to my mom, because she's like she's the ultimate truth. She has no problem telling me that a song's bad. She'll call me, and she has before been like, you can do better. So I appreciate that, and so I send her a lot of music, and of course my dog.
Your dog?
Yeah, he gives a big stamp of approval.
I mean, does he howl if it's bad, or what signal does he give you?
Anytime I have to sign a contract, we put his paw in ink, and he's got to put it down.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That is the coolest thing. No, I think if that is true.
That's what happens in Oklahoma, guys.
That's how they roll in Oklahoma.
We're a little behind the time.
But in terms of writing, I mean, do you kind of? I just find it. I find it so interesting. Do you kind of walk around with an iPhone and record little snippets and melodies, or do you have kind of office hours that you keep?
I do. Well, I don't keep office hours by any means, but I do. I walk around, and there's always constant ideas. It's interesting. I get the process. I get this question a lot of what's the process like, and I think I need to come up with a better answer, because the truth is it's usually just me going in a time when I don't think something's going to happen, and I don't think anything's going to be creatively good, and I just sit down at the piano, I kind of relax for 2 seconds, and it usually just kind of happens. A chord comes, a melody comes, and it's this really natural process. I think when people try to force it, and when they try to, say, okay, let's get in by 9 a.m., let's make sure we have a song by 11, it just never works. You got to just sort of let your mind do a lot of the work and just relax and know what's going on. And I've been doing that since I was 10. The songs have probably gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
I can imagine, but I've been doing this and going to the piano for a long time now.
What advice would you give your 10-year-old self?
10-year-old self. Don't take pre-calculus. You're not going to need it. I would just tell him to continue to go on and to, I have right now in my head, there's a lot of these, I'm always telling my fans, I'm saying, I'm still throwing punches. And I really feel like that, I could have been out of it a long time ago. And, a lot of people told me that I probably should have been out of it a long time ago.
Who would tell you that?
And hey, LA is a dirty town sometimes.
But all the reviews I've read say that you have the chops to back it up. That literally is a phrase that that a lot of people have used about you. That you have the musical skills, the vocal skills. So I feel like if you have that, why would you? What are you going to do? Go become like a tailor?
Construction. I was looking at it for a while. It's hard sometimes, to tackle the industry and to make sure. My biggest thing is for me, it was always having to prove myself, and that's I'm continuously doing that today. It's a lot of when you're young and in the industry, people love to typecast you as, okay, that's cool. That kid can't sing. That kid can't play. He's just the kid. He's the pop kid. And it can get to you sometimes. So to 10-year-old Greyson, I'd say stay strong, keep throwing punches, and just keep on writing music. And I think I've successfully done that throughout these years. And now the chip on my shoulder is kind of big enough to just sort of say F you to the people.
Exactly.
In LA
That's a pretty good attitude. And how has your music evolved, do you think?
I think, like me, it's gotten a lot older. I think I'm only one single into what we have now, so I really only have one song to say, okay, here's about to have 2 songs to say, here's the new Greyson. But the lyrics are way more mature, way older as I am, and I'd say the sounds are a little older as well. There's been like this, even I think I was hearing some of the music you guys were playing, and it's like there is a big progression of I've grown and the music has grown as well. So how's the music evolved? It's now coming from 18-year-old Greyson instead of 12-year-old Greyson.
Good God, I can't believe it seems it's amazing. 6 years, right?
Yeah, it seems like yesterday for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I came to New York, actually.
What was it like?
It was more fun not understanding the grid system. Now that I understand the grid system,
that's the best answer I've ever heard.
I was like yelling at my Uber today because he was like, "Well, I thought you said 28th and Broadway," and I'm like, "No, I didn't. Why would you even?" And so yeah, I've spent enough time in New York, and yeah, it's been a long time, but a lot of things have happened.
That's amazing that like even Greyson Chance has to fight traffic.
Yeah,
it does in New York City traffic ain't kind to no one.
I'll tell you a 2-second story. The other night I was in a cab and his card reader is broken and I have no cash and he just starts yelling at me. I mean, just like going in.
Because it's your fault that it's broken.
Yeah, he's like, well, blah, blah, and I'm staying in Brooklyn and he goes, where's an ATM? I'm like, my man, I'm not from here. I don't know what you want me to do right now. Your card reader's broken. And I get it now. Like, you really, when you're in New York and people just start yelling at you, that's why people yell here. Like, I get it. There's a reason to yell. There's always a reason to yell.
So how did you resolve this?
Luckily, like, out of nowhere, this is why I believe in a God. My manager was walking back to our place, and I had to stop him and be like, hey, I need $20. So it worked out.
That's awesome. What musicians would you, if you could pick one person to collaborate with, living or dead, who would it be?
Oh, wow. I'm like a massive Amy Winehouse fan. So if I could pick 2 people, actually, I would say I'd love to just play the keys with these guys. I wouldn't even need to sing, but I'd say Amy and Nas. If I could have, like you guys know the Cherry Wine, like if I could have played piano on that, I would have been really.
That would be. Can you imagine being able to perform or sing with Amy Winehouse? What that must have been like?
I think it would have been really, really cool. Yeah, I would like it.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Working at AOL.
Doing construction.
And let me tell you why. Yeah.
Hey, this is a pretty great place to work, I have to say.
Yeah. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I'm really hoping. I'm really happy right now. I'm really content with where I'm at musically, and I want to continue to do that. I hope I still see myself writing songs and still doing shows and hopefully having people in the audience. The day there's no one in the audience is the day I'll come for a job interview at AOL.
And I'll hire you.
Okay,
I promise you have that on the live stream.
We have that on video?
Yes,
okay,
we have it on video. You were saying earlier that you get nervous before you go on stage with 30 minutes out. Do you have a ritual that you do?
There's a lot of music listening to, actually. And then I force myself to go through all the lyrics. It's just like a sort of thing. But I'm trying to think. There's always tea. There's the vocal warm-ups, which I won't demonstrate this early in the morning. And so I guess there's like a semi-ritual, but nothing like crazy. No, I know some people will do like a certain stretch or like a certain some people are a little weird. Again, I'm from Oklahoma, so it's more like
keep it simple.
Drink the tea, get on stage.
What songs do you listen to get yourself revved up?
I listen to Queen a lot before I go on stage. For some weird reason, I don't know why, but there's something about listening to Freddie before you go on stage that's really cool. And usually some new music too, like what I'm listening to on Spotify or whatever it is.
What are you listening to now?
Okay. I had to talk with my publicist about this, actually. She was like, you need to come up with like 3 bands that people actually know. Because what are you listening to these days?
It's funny, if you asked me that question, I'd be like, music?
Okay, let's try this. There's young people in the audience. Anyone know Youth Lagoon? Yeah, that's 2 people. There it is.
All right, so see, a band that someone's heard of, 2 people have heard
Youth
of.
Lagoon. What about Yuck? Anyone listen to Yuck? Yeah, there it is. Okay, let me think of one more. Sanebo C. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there it is.
How do you discover new music?
I encourage my fans to do this as well. Every Friday, I get on iTunes New Music page, and I just scroll through everything. And just listen to the previews and usually add it to playlists or whatever it is. I think if I'm going to do this for a job, I think I should know the new music, that sort of thing. But a lot of the time, I get a lot of music from my siblings. I have 2 older siblings, and they're obviously rolling through it. what I found is interesting is I just moved to LA in August, like permanently, and I think people in Oklahoma actually have a larger roster of music that they know, because I think there's not as much to do in Oklahoma. So my friends back home have great taste in music.
And you're really super active on social media. You have 2.5 million followers on Twitter. First of all, what's been your strangest fan encounter ever?
On social media?
Yeah.
I'd say, I don't know if this is necessary. When it started, it was really strange for me. Now it's become very normal. I think what's kind of, and now I kind of take pride in it, is it's really fun, this connection I have with these people who listen to my music, is that they kind of feel me as like a trusted source. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a fan artist confidentiality like relationship, where I get a lot of DMs and a lot of things on Twitter of, sometimes people even breaking down, sometimes people even saying, hey, like, this is not a good night for me, I need something because I'm at a really bad point. And when that first started, that was very strange to me, because I didn't feel as I was in a position to really like help, because I'm just a kid who plays music. And now I'm very thankful for it, because I sort of get to have this relationship with the fans and speak to them and let them know that I'm a trusted source and everything's okay. So I guess it's a little strange, but in a way, I think it's really nice, something that I have with the fans.
No, that's not strange at all. I think that's really sweet, actually, that people look to you and admire you. I think that's great.
And try to reply as much as I can, because people just reach out and thinking that I'll never see stuff. And sometimes I just check it at the right time, and
then you see it.
Happens, yeah.
And it's like you make someone's month,
by
doing that.
I can help people out. Life is hard, so hit me up on Twitter.
I'll
help you out.
And now I'm sure we have a few questions from our audience.
Great. We're going to start with a question from an online viewer to know, what has been your favorite city to visit and perform in?
New York, of course.
Hello.
I would actually say, well, no, I do love New York, don't get me wrong. I'd say I was just in Chicago. I love going to Chicago. Number one, I love the deep dish pizza, but also the vibe there has always been great. But I've traveled everywhere. I think every city has something a little nice and unique to it. But okay, today we say New York. Maybe tomorrow I'll change.
Great. That's a good answer.
Hello. Starting at a very young age, what was the best advice that was given to you that stuck with you?
I remember I was sitting backstage. Actually, I was probably like 15 at the time, and I was with Gaga, and I was sitting backstage after a show, and I was going through some rough like business stuff, like just some industry, like whatever. And I remember her sitting on the couch and just really, really like nailing it to my head, like, don't let this get to you. Just focus on what you do and focus on the art. And that was really important to me. Something I recommend to all artists is, it's like, don't look to music as the day you start writing songs as like, oh, this one's gonna make me a lot of money. You shouldn't be writing music. That's just my opinion. I think that like clouds the whole perspective and that sort of thing. So when all that world starts to get into it, I try to push it back. So she gave me that advice.
I think having Gaga as a business advisor, like the way you're like so casual. You're like so sitting, with Gaga. I'm like, oh yeah, totally. Like, yeah, she's like at my desk right now.
I think as a creative advisor, I might be a little nervous hiring her as a business advisor.
Hi. If you could live a life of another musician for 24 hours, who would it be?
Easily, I would say Future or Drake.
Drake. Yes. Why?
I think everyone knows why.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend. Like, they're pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's leave it at that. Hi. Thank you for coming in today.
Oh, no.
So, if you're not writing music or performing, what do you? If you're not writing music or performing, what do you like to do on your downtime? Is there a particular hobby you enjoy?
I'm like, again, I need to have better answers. I'm like the nerdiest kid in the world. Like, our fans will hit me up and be like, man, like, you're probably out, like, partying after the show. And last night we went to dinner, and then I got home and, like, started reading my book. I was just like an old man in Brooklyn, just, like, scrolling through the pages. I read a lot. Probably my favorite thing to do, because when I'm in LA, they keep me pretty busy and I work it. Like, I have a 1966 Mustang back home in Oklahoma, so I love working on that car and rolling around and blasting some Ray Charles and doing that life. So I'm an old man. I have an old car, and I read a lot of old books.
And he listens to Ray Charles.
And listens to Ray Charles. You have to in that car.
I mean,
It feels
the
wrong.
fact that you
though.
have that car is amazing. 2 more questions, please.
You look good.
First of all, I just want to say I had a lot of fun yesterday because I went to your show.
Oh, did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And one thing that I've always been curious, because I've been a fan of yours for ages, like my personal favorite song of yours from your old album is Summer Train. And I was curious as to which one from your old songs is your favorite, and what's your favorite new song from your
I wouldn't even lie. I actually probably like Summer Train the best from that album because I always really liked that song, and I always thought the lyric was really interesting and a little weird. From this EP that's about to come out, I would say I've always loved Hit and Run, but there's a record I played last night called More Than Me, which is sort of like my version of like any sort of Oklahoma record, and it like is over these gospel chords. It's really piano based, and that one just feels like a direct extension of me. So. It's always a piano song, so I would say that's my favorite from the new.
And last question, please.
Hi. How early did you start playing piano, and how often would you practice, like hours per day? And was it ever a struggle, or did you always just feel compelled to play? It was never a struggle.
They rented a keyboard for me in the womb when my mom was there. I think it was a Yamaha. No, I started playing.
Childbirth must have been rough for your mom.
Yeah, she had a whole 88 keys. I started playing when I was, I guess, like 7, somewhere around there. And no, it wasn't. It was me going to the piano. It wasn't my parents forcing me, which was really interesting. I remember when I first started playing, we had a book, just like a beginner's book, and I looked at the notes, and my parents got really, really mad at me because we had this old piano, and I took a Sharpie to the keys, and I wrote C, D, E, F, to the whole 9 yards. And they got very upset with me. But I was sort of the one who started playing, and I was the one who wanted to go to lessons. But I only wanted to play piano because I knew I had a voice, and I felt like the 2 and 2 went together really well. So that just sort of led me to say, okay, let me try this and see where it can go.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you, Greyson, with an E, the only proper way to spell it.
Only proper way.
Hit and Run is out Friday. Thank you so much.